Hello there, I'm Natasha Koo, the founder of Feminine Space, and welcome to day 10 of this beautiful Redefining Womanhood series. And today we're going to be diving into the topic, how do we surrender? How do we let go of the past, of control, and pretty much to flow with life and flow with our heart desires. So let's get to it. In the last video, we talked all about what surrendering actually is and how it's not giving up, but it has to do with ease and actually letting go what is hurting us, what's holding us back, and what's keeping us small. So today I really want to share with you how we actually surrender, because last time I talked all about how holding on or the inability to let go is really just a really clenched fist, right? When we can't just let things fall, let things return to its natural state. And although as much as I've experienced this for myself, and I know that this is the norm in the world today, we're constantly under stress, we are constantly thinking about what our next thing on our to-do list is to check off, and all the obligations and pressure that we feel like we're under. I promise you that ease and surrendering and letting go to all of this is possible. But it requires a commitment from you, and it requires an openness. And that's how I kind of want to start this conversation today of how to actually let go. Because for me, letting go and surrendering really at the very core of it means that we must accept. We must come to terms with what's here. And a lot of the times, the difficulty in letting go and the difficulty in the resistance to surrendering actually lies in our fear of something. So for example, for the longest time, I was really hesitant and I completely ignored anger within myself, because very early on I associated that with something that's negative. I associated anger with actually pain and hurting other people, because I thought that the anger and the rage that I felt when I was growing up was hurting me. Right? So sometimes we may develop these safety mechanisms, or a certain experience in the past might have kind of made us really want to retreat, really want to hide, really want to block ourselves off from what was happening. The thing is, once that has happened, it stays within us because we haven't fully allowed that experience to pass through us and be felt. So what ends up happening is that we hold on tighter and tighter and tighter, and we begin to have topics or areas of our lives that are just too sensitive, that are untouchable in a way, and we don't go there, not with ourselves and not with anyone else. So those really sensitive spots, those past memories or traumas, or even certain ideas that, the moment you bring it up, it just becomes really messy, right? We become really impacted through the emotions that we feel, and it feels like we're just getting triggered each time we open up this jar again. So how does this kind of emotional mess or the triggers that we have actually relate to surrendering? Now, it has a great deal, because what surrendering means is that we allow our body, our energy, our emotions to be processed. And as humans, we are designed so that we do process through everything. Okay, so if this is not making sense, what I really mean is that when you look at animals, when they're in a fight, when they are going through a time or a moment of great tension, like a conflict or whatever it may be, and they feel the fear or they feel that aggression, whatever it is that they feel inside, it builds up, they fight, they do whatever, but then they flap their wings. If they're a duck, they will flap their wings to release that excess energy. Or if it's a bear, it actually has been documented that these scientists were trying to kind of get some data on these bears. So they shot this kind of special kind of like a medicine that kind of sedates them, and they kind of go into a really tiny coma so that they're able to gather their samples, gather the data, and then they can kind of return back to their normal bear life. Now what happened with these bears is that they kind of felt something was in the air. They knew they were kind of in danger, they were going to get shot, so they kind of felt that it was within their body. And now the very interesting thing is that the bears know how to release its energy, to allow this fearful experience to just be processed through their system. Because even when they woke up, even though they had no recollection of, you know, just going to coma, being sedated and everything, when they woke up and that kind of solution no longer had that effect on their body, they were running. They were kind of sideways, throwing their paws around like they're running away from the humans who were the scientists who were trying to shoot at them. Because the body of that bear knows that it needs to get rid of this excess energy, this fear, you know, this adrenaline. It knows to process through that, just like a duck would flap its wings. And now for humans, if you see a child, they're annoyed, they're angry, they're feeling something, they're feeling hurt, they'll cry it out, they'll stomp on the ground, they'll, you know, like clench their fists, they'll throw a fit, they'll scream, they'll express themselves in a way to let it all go. And once it's over, they're back to normal. And that's how we work as adults too. Just as humans, we're built in this way that we are meant to surrender and let go of every single event, everything that happens, no matter how emotional or how bad that we label it to be. We are actually built to surrender and to let go. So what I'm here kind of referring to is that sometimes we may have these built-in, you know, triggers and fears and worries and just certain very sensitive aspects or topics that we have, right? And it has accumulated, and we have suppressed these feelings and this whole experience to the point where we don't feel them, and it's stuck within us. And that makes it so much harder, because as you probably can imagine, you know, when something's bothering you, it's really hard to concentrate. It's hard to work, it's hard to hold a conversation, it's hard to study, it's hard to be yourself if you're constantly worried about something. May it be about your finances, maybe it's about how you look or how you appear in front of other people. Whatever it may be, I'm so sure you know, or you've been in a situation where you're just so kind of mentally engaged with a certain worry, a certain thought, that you can hardly be still, you can hardly be present, you can hardly enjoy yourself. So that's what surrendering is actually for. Is for us to actually process through and to let go of what's really stuck within our psyche, what's stuck within our energy, and what is stuck within us energetically. And it's something that we do already know how to do. It's almost as if it was always built within us, and we know exactly what to do. And it just happens on its own, pretty much, if we do not kind of mess with it and we do not shut down the process. So how do we kind of mess with this natural system of letting go and surrendering in the first place? So as I mentioned, sometimes it's our fear. It's our association that feeling our emotions or bringing up this topic would actually hurt us. And I know this very well because just part of me, right? There were parts of shame, there was parts of disconnect to my body, there was a disconnect to anger, there was blocking of my own heart to some degree, because I thought that if I felt into that, if I got into that, if I really allow myself to feel it and to open those wounds up or those past experiences and memories up, that I would get hurt again. But the thing is, like in the last video, and kind of what I experienced this morning also, is that the moment you let yourself feel to the fullest degree, completely, the moment you open yourself up to what is here, it could be pain, it could be sadness, it could be shame, it could be a sense of failure, whatever it is that you're feeling or you're resisting, the moment you open yourself up to actually experience that, it will pass through you. The only reason why it stays a sensitive topic, stays a painful subject, stays as a trigger, emotional trigger in your life, is because we resist it. It's because we do not allow ourselves to actually deal with it. So it comes back again and again and again. It's always hanging there in the back of our minds or above our head in this gloomy cloud. But the moment we allow ourselves to actually go there, for this experience to just pass through us, then in this form of surrendering, which is really natural, we just have forgotten that it exists, and we have gotten in the way of natural surrendering, natural letting go, and natural allowing things to pass. It will happen, and we'll rise above it from this past experience, from the same emotion, with less emotional attachment, with much less resistance than ever before, because it's gone, because it has moved through us through an experience. Now, this is not something that you can just think through. You think of the past, you allow yourself to fully think about it, and then it'll be over. It does not work like that. It must be felt. So more than anything, it requires you to open up from the heart, to open yourself up fully to the experience. And the most helpful thing that I can ever say regarding surrendering and letting go is that you will never be hurt from your emotions. No matter how painful, no matter how much sadness or grief is in there, the true you can't be hurt. It's a sensation at the very core that you're allowing to pass through. So because of that, the more we suppress something, the worse it feels when you let go. So the very beginning, it might feel like a lot, right? Even physically, you might be drained from this experience of letting go and surrendering. But if you do over time, if you keep opening up your heart, and it's like you feel a tightness within yourself, especially in your chest, and you feel yourself tensing up, just guarding, right? Guarding yourself. That's the moment to realize, aha, it's happening. I'm closing up. I'm tensing up. And I'm letting whatever is happening right now to be stored within my body. I'm resisting it, right? I'm not surrendering to it. So the moment you realize, I feel this tension, then you can open up. See if you can breathe through your chest. See if you can really allow yourself to open up through your heart and allow this to pass. Because the moment you allow yourself to feel it and accept it and go to the depths of that feeling, it will pass. It truly will. Because we allow it to pass, right? So here's I guess it's not a very step-by-step process, but it has been how I have experienced surrender again and again. And when you allow this to pass by you, and when you surrender to everything that's happening in your life, you're not giving up. In fact, you're actually having more power because you're not letting anything sway you from the inner peace, from the grounding, from the true you that is actually here to witness this whole experience. You are able to have much more clarity to actually redefine womanhood, to actually take the next step that feels right for you, and to know exactly what it is that you want, versus dealing with this internal struggle and internal fight of everything that's coming up, and in all the past, kind of situations that you replay in your head, or a certain thought that just keeps on coming up in the back of your mind again and again. The more we push it away, the more it will rise up again. So the key here to free ourselves from these negative thoughts, from these worries, from these mental baggage, and from our past is to surrender, and is to let our body and our heart do what it knows best, and to allow that all to happen. And the most important thing that I can share with you right now is to be very gentle to yourself, because it can be very intense if your emotions have been something that you've been shoving away for years. It can have a lot of buildup, and your body, as much as it appreciates the release, it can be very strong in how you experience that. So be gentle and approach surrendering, approach letting go with love, because this is our only kind of body, this is our only experience here as a human in this life. So be very gentle to the process. It can be intense, but know that as long as you hold on to your true self, and you hold on to the feeling that you will always be okay, and that emotions can never ever hurt you, then you can truly allow yourself to go through this experience of letting go, of surrendering, so that you can have more clarity, you can actually live life and move forward with so much freedom and so much space and so much less stress and worries and all that stuff that we carry around with us every day. So if you ever feel like you need a bit of support, especially someone to hold the space for you, so that you can truly go there, so that you feel held, you feel safe, you feel supported, you feel guided as you face those past demons, as you face what you thought was really so scary, right? If you want someone to be there, then feel free to reach out to me. You can comment below, you can email me at natasha@femininespace.com, because this is a very powerful process. And it's extremely significant. And this is the very thing that can really hold us in love, in strength, in power, and fully align ourselves, our life, our actions to our true self, our true intentions in life again. Because from what I've experienced is that the more you push these past experiences away, the more you push your fears away, the bigger they become, and the more power they have over you in your life and how you can actually live. So the moment you actually let go and you surrender, you get so much back. But it requires that openness, it requires that commitment. So I really want to offer to you this experience. And if you feel like this is something so huge, maybe you're not ready yet, or maybe you want to explore what it could look like for you, then please reach out to me, because I don't want any of us to feel like that we're alone in this. Because trust me, when I first started to surrender and let go, it was quite a roller coaster. But when you rise above it all, everything just opens up in a way that you never imagined before, because there are no more landmines that you have to kind of be careful of as you go through life. And there is much more ease on the other side just waiting for us. So all this openness, all this freedom, all this ease, it's within you, and it's for you to experience. So feel inside of your heart if this is something that you, your true self, your heart is actually longing for. The releasing of this past, releasing of this baggage, and letting go. Because if it is, then step up to it, even if it's scary, because I understand it really can be. But that's one of the greatest ways we can allow ourselves to live fully, is by letting go what actually never ever served us. But to recognize that it's time now, and I can let it go, and that I can surrender, and I'm capable, I'm able to. So that's it for today. It's a very, for me, it's a very important message to put out there into the world and to tell you, because that fight that we are fighting inside, within our heads, within our hearts, that closing, that disconnect we feel, it's not something that you have to go through. And the moment we open ourselves up to ourselves and let it all go, it becomes, the world, literally, it's like the day becomes clear again. So I invite you to experience that for yourself, and really take care of yourself also within this process, and make sure to reach out for guidance, for help, for sisterhood, if you feel like that's what you are called to do at this moment. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more, because now we're really diving into the heart of things. This is how we truly begin to redefine our life, redefine womanhood, begin to live our dreams, and get in touch with the wholeness within ourselves. So thank you so much for watching, and tomorrow I'm going to be diving into another really brilliant and powerful topic, which is kind of, for me, the next step after we begin to get to know surrendering and letting go. The next step is to actually listen to our heart, because our hearts will open up and really begin to speak if we listen. So more on that tomorrow. So make sure to subscribe, make sure to watch the next video if you are open to that and it's the right time for you right now. So see you, and have a very good journey, and know that you're never ever alone in this. Bye!